Hey guys, so the last one we're going to talk about in this particular session, like I said, there's other entities, but we're not going to get into that. So we're going to talk about S-Corps. So S-Corps, so it's just like, it's its own entity, but you can have an LLC and you can elect to be an S-Corporation. So what that does is just gives you an opportunity to have shareholders now and, having your employees and things like that. In fact, one of the great benefits of being an S-Corp is that you can write yourself off as an employee. And you can have John's barbershop and John the barber working for John's barbershop. So now you can pay yourself a salary or pay yourself a wage to actually have two different tax returns. So you have a business tax return and you have a tax return for you as a personal income. So now you can actually write yourself off and say as an expense for you as an employee. Yeah, I know it sounds a little difficult, but it works really well. So again, that's something that you might want to look into because it's something that can save you on taxes. There's a lot of different tax breaks that you can look into by having and electing to be an S corporation. Some of the disadvantages is that there are strict qualifications for S corp. They're moving the needle on you. They're playing a closer little eye on you just because now that you're an S corporation, the IRS looks at you as, hey, this guy or girl knows what he or she's doing. So we just want to make sure everything is doing right because you are less likely to get audited just because as an S corp, hypothetically speaking, you wouldn't do that if you didn't really know a little bit about the tax law and you're being giving good fruit of what you're doing when you actually are an LLC or an S corporation or whatever corporation. So in my personal opinion and experience, I think that the IRS pays a little bit more closer attention to a person that's that's a sole proprietor because it's like the entry level into business. Once you become LLCs and S corps and corporations and things like that, from my experience, they don't look at you with such a microscope. That's my personal opinion, and again, it depends on where you're at. I'm here in Nebraska, so wherever you're at, make sure you keeping up with your tax laws and staying current with all the laws and things like that, and making sure that your CPA is up to date and things like that. So things changing constantly, so making sure that you're just available and you're aware of what's happening. So I think it's highly important that you look into being an S corp because it can be very beneficial to you if you know what your business entity is and what you're looking to do with business. And like I said, making sure that you consult because I like to always get this disclaimer that I am not a financial advisor, I'm not a tax lawyer or anything like that or such. So this is my advice from my experience. So I would highly suggest you go look into hiring somebody as a professional and getting that information, especially depending on where you're at location, because different no matter where you're watching this at in the world, your laws may or may not be different. So I'm here in the United States, Nebraska, so I'm just giving you the examples and from my entities in my atmosphere, what I'm doing around here. So it could change depending on your state. So I think as far as an S corp, there can be shareholders, can be no more than 100 shareholders, and so your shareholders can have shares in your business, and that's another asset that you can have, and so just making sure that you're aware of that. So just to wrap this up, I just want you to know that both LLCs or any type of corporations, they have to be registered to do business in the state and to do business within and outside of their home state. So just take that as a note, and food for thought. So to close out this session, I want you to, make sure you comment in the box the questions that's below, and that will unlock the next lesson. So in the meantime, peace and love, and I'll see you at the top.